Hi there. This is going to be the last recording I do before my birthday. I've got a birthday coming up next week, and I can't deny that I am excited about it. No matter how many birthdays I have, I remain excited every time it approaches. The only difference is earlier on, I always had this unjustified fear that I wouldn't see my next birthday, that I wouldn't live to see it, that I wouldn't live to grow a year older. And now that I feel that I've had my fair share of birthdays, I don't worry about that so much. And as I get older, I look back on my life and realize, how much I've changed. And in many ways I haven't, but in some ways I have. And I look back to, when I was in my 20s, and at that time I thought that I knew everything. And as time has gone by, I have grown to reevaluate some of the things that I thought, and come to the realization that I didn't know half of what I thought I knew. And it puts me, I guess, in an interesting position, one where I can now say that even though I now believe that I've figured life out, I know that at one time I felt this way, and I know now that I was wrong. So it leads me to believe that if I should be blessed to have another 20, 30, 40 years of life, that I'll be able to look back on this time and think, wow, I didn't know anything. But the problem with growing old is certainly not acquiring wisdom, because growing up is a never-ending learning experience. And got to tell you, I'm loving that. What I don't like is, I always looked forward to growing up, and that's why having birthdays was always a good thing. It was evidence of my becoming an adult. But now I feel I've been an adult long enough, and now the birthdays just don't represent growing up anymore. They represent growing old. And that is not as good a feeling. As I've grown older, I've also become nostalgic for the past. And now I understand, growing up, why older people who at this point are probably older than they were when I thought they were old. Who knows? Probably some of them have already died of old age, or just died. But point is, I remember them hearkening back to the old days and thinking, how things in the past were so great. And I didn't get that because everything was new to me. So I was living in the moment. All right. At the time that I grew up, the culture that was, I'll take music for example, because I have a passion for music, and there was a lot of new acts breaking at the time. And I remember Madonna was very popular and remained popular for a very long time. And a lot of other acts were more of a flash in the pan, but they were big when they were big, and very big. And we enjoyed the music at the time, and as far as we knew, there was no end in sight. There was a string of hits and it would keep coming. I mean, we heard from people at that time, such as Cyndi Lauper, and Paula Abdul, and Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Bruce Springsteen, Prince, Huey Lewis, Duran Duran, The Culture Club, Wham. Those were the artists that were on radio all the time. And, recently I was friends with somebody on Facebook that we were so different because he's a millennial, I'm not. So he's from a different generation, and he was a huge Bernie Sanders supporter. The only thing that we agreed on was neither of us liked Hillary Clinton, but I wasn't supporting Bernie Sanders. And this friend had always a lot of what I found to be very controversial points of view, things that I completely disagreed with. I made it clear often that I disagreed. If I didn't say something in response to his posts, I mean, he could see them on my page, that we had a very different way of thinking. But we still coexisted happily. There was never a problem until I started talking about growing older and how things changed. Because he is now, as I was then, living in the moment. Everything is new. He's experiencing life for the first time, and everything that's new, he's embracing, and it's becoming kind of his DNA. So he's a Lady Gaga fan, and he's often talking about Lady Gaga, and we haven't heard too much from her lately, and I finally said, you know, her moment is gone. She was big, I would say probably in 2010. You know, she started out in 2008. She had a pretty good run right up until 2010 is, I think, when she peaked. She was incredibly popular. And now she's on the decline. Her star is beginning to fall. And it just happens. You know, 2008 was like 10 years ago. That is about everyone's staying power, pretty much. But I said, you know, people like Lady Gaga and Kesha and Selena Gomez and Katy Perry and Taylor Smith or Taylor Swift or whatever, Rihanna and Beyonce, all those people that you're growing up on, you know, 15, 20 years from now, they're going to remain in your heart. And you're going to find that everybody growing up 15, 20 years from now, you know, they're now being exposed to new things, and everything is being marketed to them. And everyone that you grew to love is just going to kind of fall by the wayside. They're not going to be relevant anymore. That's going to hurt you. You know, everything that I grew to love and held dear is forgotten, you know, except for, of course, by my generation. But society, or I should say the media or whatever, is not really targeting us anymore, you know, targeting the youth. And so we all go through this. And so for the last few years, as I've gotten older, I'm looking back to the old days. I mean, I live in the moment. I like some new stuff. You know, but I like a lot of the old stuff, and nobody knows what it is. You can't even talk to anyone about it. I mean, everyone my age has already grown up, moved away, started their own families, and those are the only people that really get where I'm coming from. You know, but if you do, I'd like to hear from you. So don't be a stranger. I believe that the time that we are born, you know, of course, we're assigned a sign based on when we're born. The zodiac says I'm a Capricorn, and while I don't believe that astrology foretells the future, I think it's silly people who look at back in the old days, people looked at newspapers, and now people go online to look up their daily horoscope. I don't know how many of you do that, but I don't do that. I don't think it's foretelling at all. But I do believe that when you're born influences your personality. Now, so in other words, what I'm saying is other Capricorns, people who were born when I was born, meaning month and day, not necessarily year, but month and day, will share similar characteristics as I have. Now, of course, we all come from different backgrounds. We were all raised by different people, influenced by different people, so that is going to play a role in our evolution into the people that we become. I'm going to do a little of that again today because I've got to share with you my Bible when it comes to personality profiles. Let me grab this book. All right. It's called The Secret Language of Birthdays. It's a great book. It's got 366 personality profiles, one for every day of the year, including leap year. Have you ever met anybody born February 29th? I haven't. But you just flip over to your birthday, and it's got like 2 pages about everyone's birthday. So let me look mine up and tell you what it has to say. At least some of it. I'm not going to read you everything word for word. We don't have the time for that. But here are my strengths, right? I'm tough, I'm authoritative, and I'm realistic. And maybe you have seen, me express some of those characteristics in some of my former recordings. But here are my weaknesses. We all have those too. Insensitive, armored, and jealous. Now, I don't think I'm a jealous person. Perhaps it's something that I have managed to suppress because I do see it as a shortcoming. I recognize that that's what it is. But armored, yes, I believe that I do have a guard around me. I try to keep people away, and at the same time, I feel alone, but that's kind of my own fault. And as far as being insensitive, yes, sometimes I just tend to tell it like it is, and I don't sugarcoat my words, and that's one thing that it says about people born on my day. It says we're realists first and foremost. We're capable of taking a hard look at most any situation, sizing it up, and acting accordingly. We rarely prey to false optimism, dreamy hopes, or visions. We are somewhat proud of our realistic assessment of things. And that's also something that you may have picked up in some of my earlier recordings. Whether we're sensitive people or not, we don't let either our own or other people's sensitivity getting in the way of telling it like it is. Uncompromising in our views. Those born on my birthday are not accustomed to sugarcoating the pill or honeying our words. Things simply are the way they are. Take it or leave it. It also has a couple little sections, numbers and planets. It talks about that. I don't know too much about. I don't understand that very well. Tarot. It says how we're influenced. It talks also about our health. All right, that's really interesting as well. And here's advice to people born on my day. It says, keep it light and have fun. Let your guard down occasionally. Carrying all that armor can be pretty tiring. Take a back seat once in a while and just enjoy the ride. Allow yourself to need and be needed. So this is a great book, and it has some companion text books as well. One is called, there's a little thumbnail of it in here. It's called The Secret Language of Relationships. Fascinating book. I mean, it really is. Because in that book, what you can do is you could match your birthday up to the birthday of someone else in your life that you either have a love relationship with, or you're married, or you're siblings, or you're just family, or you work together, and it tells you how you will interact with that person. Now, it doesn't do it based on your birthday and their birthday, but it does it based on your birth week and theirs. I guess assuming that the personalities are going to be so similar if you're just, say for example your birthday is March 10th. I think it's okay. I guess they figured that between March 10th and March 17th, the personalities are going to be so similar. So that's the reason why they do it that way. This book is by Gary Goldschneider and Juice Alfers. And they also did, to my knowledge, I know for a fact a third book, because I have that one as well. I don't know if they did 4 or 5 or anything like that. I don't think they have. But they also did The Secret Language of Destiny. That book is not as easy for me to comprehend as the other 2. That one's a little bit more complex. But the first 2, anyone can grasp it. Great books. Highly recommend them. All right, so I haven't made any birthday plans yet. I don't know what I'll do. It's not really that important to me. I like to keep it simple for my birthday. Just like to get together with a friend. Doesn't have to be a group of people. Doesn't have to be anything all that entirely exciting. Don't need to tie one on. Just, a nice little dinner, some conversation. That's all I ask for. Haven't had a surprise birthday party in many, many years. Done those two. Those are nice. They try to do it at work all the time. And I remember one year I got called into the conference room, walked in, the lights were out, and all I saw was a birthday cake with candles burning on it. I'm like, oh no. I shut the door and walked away. They had to come after me and grab me and pull me into the room. I'm really uncomfortable being the center of attention. Really I am. I like more of a one-on-one conversation with someone, but when everybody's like all eyes on me, it's difficult, and I know they're going to try to surprise me at work this year. They've done it before, but I can't say that I would be disappointed if they do nothing other than just walk over and say happy birthday. That would be good enough for me. So, when we meet up again, I'll let you know. If anything exciting happens, you will be the first to know. So, I appreciate your time as always. Until we meet again, have a good one.